This is the Bandai DX VF25F with Tornado parts. I have a separate review for the VF25F toy that's sold separately. Check that out first. I'm not going to really harp too much on the design attributes of that toy. I'm just going to focus here on the tornado parts themselves. So, starting with these back boosters, you have articulated booster nozzles on kind of ball joints. You can do a lot with them. There's plenty of pre-painted detail you can see. The boosters also swivel up so you can get the VTOL effect, and they lock into place. So if you're just mildly handling the toy, you don't have to worry about the boosters getting, out of whack on you. The guns have doors at the back that open and close. I assume that's where shells would pop out. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if this is a laser weapon or a traditional bullet weapon, but the cannons also swivel left and right and up and down, so you can have some fun with those poses. The gun underneath the toy still fits via an extension peg, but it does fit on with the arm armors also attached. There's a pretty common flaw you'll notice most in fighter mode. The SMS written here is upside down, so it looks like SWS. It's pretty much the key points for fighter mode. Let's move on to Gerwalk, then Batroid. This is Gerwalk mode. Now, there's only one really interesting thing to point out in this mode, and that's if we spin the toy around, you're going to notice these, well, I guess I'll flip it up a little bit. This black support cradle with these two extension arms that come down and plug into the legs. Essentially, this mode is absolutely useless without those parts, because the weight of all the parts, the tornado parts, causes the back of the toy to fall right down. So, it's obviously a big compromise that you wouldn't want to see on a toy that costs this much and is supposedly this well engineered. So, not very high marks there for Bandai. All the same features from the previous mode. You get some articulation, but obviously the leg articulation is going to be limited by that piece that holds Gerwalk together. So, let's move on to Batroid mode. This is Batroid mode. It's definitely better than Gerwalk mode, but the toy definitely has some weaknesses here too. Number one, you will note the preponderance of the toy's weight is resting far to the rear of the toy, which means you have to angle the legs in funny positions and do things with the heel to get the toy to stand. Another thing you could do is you could bring the wings out further, distribute the weight more to the left and right, or play with the Gerwalk joint. That helps a lot. And you can get some poses out of the toy that way. You can use the cannons and articulate the cannons to get, a faux strike cannon appearance. The knees have back armor like the super parts did, but you can still get like one click from the knee joint, so you still have some articulation there. Overall, Batroid obviously not the strongest mode for the tornado parts. That would definitely be fighter mode. Also, I should note here that the Tamashii website is going to sell the tornado parts as individual upgrades for people who bought the original standalone VF25 toy. And of course, these parts do fit on the original release. There hasn't been much change in the reissues. One thing I'll also note here is the interior colors have changed from that original release. They're now much darker, as is the gun. The gun's a little more purple instead of a almost baby blue color, which is all nice to see, but as far as major upgrades go from the first release, there's nothing much there. Another Tamashii website exclusive that they're going to release is like bonus parts, so space weapons essentially for the tornado parts. Overall, it's a decent toy. The armor's fun, it stays attached well. but it's not very useful in any mode outside of fighter. Some of that's personal opinion. I think it looks just gangly in Batroid mode. If you're in the market for a VF25 toy still, this isn't a bad one. If you just don't care for the Tendo parts, just get the standalone. There hasn't been that much of an improvement here to warrant purchasing these parts if you don't really love them. For more pictures, comparisons to other toys, visit anymoon.com.